For me, the word craft has a special meaning. I relate the word to what I do as an architect, and I relate it to the cities that I love. When I design, when I envision a building, I want to know how that building participates within the surrounding neighborhood and the city as a whole. Solving the various issues of creating shelter for all of us with the notion of making something beautiful, for me, that's the definition of craft. Someone who undertakes craft inherently possesses a desire and a passion to create while solving a practical problem. It is that someone's personal vision to realize an ideal thing or place. Often this is the burning ambition of an individual, but it can extend beyond one person to be the vision of a like-minded group. This ambition combines the practical goals of making a good and accommodating shelter and combining it with the idea of making something beautiful and inspiring. It is in this act where those who love and care about the composition of great buildings are participating in crafting cities. Alas, it's not as simple as this, and unfortunately, this is not normally how we make cities, at least not in our modern world. The great cities of the world are works of art. Great cities inspire us, allow us to enjoy life and to do great things. Great cities accommodate human needs and are accommodating to their own societies. I believe that the willful act of doing all that at once is craft. Again, someone who crafts has a burning ambition to create and to realize the practical artistic vision. This extends from the great visions of political leaders remaking cities, like Haussmann in Paris, down to a flat owner, maybe your neighbor down the hall, who's trying to make her front door look more unique. The vision is a combination of the twin desires to dream up things and then to construct them. It is the ultimate manifestation of combining the prowess of the left brain with that of the right. Although city building, by its very nature, is a process of many practical decisions and acts, it can also be considered to be a collective work of art, if it's good enough. The dark cloud, known by anyone who participates in craft of city making, is that the ordinances and procedures of traditional zoning and the planning processes as a whole are not all conducive to making art. Not at all. Maybe you're one of those that have that burning ambition to make things, participating in building a great city. You have before you a cumbersome process that you must run in parallel with your vision. You must immerse yourself in all of your community's planning vision. On the face of it, that's a good thing. Well, that becomes less of a good thing because it's usually a layered mess of incremental ordinances and governmental actions fused together without regard to how it's used or administered. These ordinances and this process are meant for the public good, and they keep the absolutely awful from being built. And also, as an unfortunate consequence, as a way to wield political power. The rules and the processes are complicated by necessity, and new issues are being discovered along the way and must be considered by the community. So new rules are made, and they're grafted onto the old in a process that eventually makes for one big yarn ball of rules. The difficult job of looking at these rules in any kind of holistic way is seldom undertaken. The resulting combination of rules, the new glommed on with the old, are often written not to aid good design, but to be expeditious. They are written and administered in an inflexible way by numerous people, mostly who are not designers. Please note, planners, mostly all worthy and able people, are not designers. A byproduct of this way of doing things is that craftspeople, embarking on a project, intent on doing something worthy and good, are deemed by the process to have bad intent. No one can trace down all the leads of that proverbial ball of yarn perfectly, and at the same time produce something that is viable and beautiful. To the administrator, the inadvertent breaking of the rules indicates the designer is trying to get away with something. The artistic vision is irrelevant. Planning staff learns that by saying no keeps them from being fired. And so, much of what gets built is pretty mediocre and bad stuff still gets done. Entitlements, as we have noted, are meant to run parallel with the design vision, but this is an awkward match at best. You can spend all your time on the vision or on picking the yarn ball apart. Rarely both. An entitlements application can be pulled so far off the rails from its original vision by the process, so much so that the original artistic notion can no longer be recognized. But amazingly, good stuff does get done. But not because the process encouraged it, but because there are always those who are determined to overcome. Our current planning processes make for a lot of projects that aren't very good. We build a lot of buildings that don't work as they should and are not as sustainable as they should be. Places that aren't very beautiful and really don't serve the public vision. Things will eventually, maybe 20 years down the line, be torn down and thrown away, plowed under. Because what isn't any good will eventually be recognized as such. It will be replaced. That's what you do with unloved things that can't be sustained and have no long-lasting value. You have a city filled with these unloved things, and a city filled with unloved things makes for a city no one loves. From design review to concept approval to environmental laws to misplaced litigation, we harm our ability to do truly sustainable and desirable things. Planning processes have become too cumbersome. To make the best cities, this needs to change. As it stands, for those individuals and groups, the true believers, or those whom the imperative to craft is well and alive, the solution is to kind of subvert the process, even at great sacrifice and personal expense. If it is occurring to you that there might be a better use of these resources for the sake of architecture and for the sake of cities, you would be right. With the convoluted process we have in place to make cities, we lose the chance to be at our best. And here's another issue. If an individual or group is rich and or powerful enough to co-opt political power, it can leapfrog the process. If you have the resources or the power, why get bogged down? You can't blame someone who wants to do that, but the hard-won equity is lost. High-profile projects often jump the process. A minimal environmental study is done, and then a lightning-quick approval process follows. Amazing what a little political power can do. City building as an extension of political power and wealth is an issue that has always been with us. But is that the best use of our resources, especially in a democracy? And is that the best way to make a beautiful, equitable, and sustainable city? One of the reasons I created this channel was to identify what is wrong with the way we create cities and to strategize some alternatives. Craft is the common thread, the melding of art with thoughtful, practical solutions, with the impetus to build great cities. We, as a society, need to adjust to that, to take advantage of all those who desire to craft, and to make good design prevail over leaden process. To craft cities, those who craft, that is, those who design and build with the desire to make a better world, are a better solution for this. More so than the society of professional rulemakers and arbiters of the law. Let's allow our laws and processes support the craftspeople who envision great things to come. We'll talk more about these things as we progress with the channel. Thanks.